So good morning, everyone. My name is Leanna Bell. I'm a sophomore environmental horticulture major, and today I want to talk a little bit about the man of the jungle. So does anybody, if you hadn't seen any of my other slides when I was setting up, know who the man of the jungle is?
George?
It's not George of the Jungle, no. Any ideas? Anybody? No? All right. So the man of the jungle is actually the orangutan. The translation in the native Indonesian tongue, which is where these creatures are found, actually does mean man of the jungle or man of the forest, because orangutans do live in these heavily dense rainforest environments. Only 2 locations in the world. Is that going to go away?
What does it say?
It says, please change the lamp.
Right. I don't know. It's never happened before.
Sorry. Sorry. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about them as a species and things that are happening in their world, because they do live in Indonesia and Malaysia, only 2 places in the world. Does anybody know where Indonesia is? Anybody in the world? Kind of, sort of? Okay, well, we'll get there. So I'm going to show a quick clip just to introduce the orangutan. And we're going to have to watch this commercial real quick, so I apologize. Is that as loud as it will go?
Welcome back to 16 by 9, the bigger picture.
They're cute and cuddly and on the brink of extinction. Borneo is one of the few places on Earth where orangutans still exist in the wild. But thanks to the efforts of a dedicated Canadian, there's hope for these jungle survivors. Here's our Carolyn Jarvis.
Borneo, a tropical island paradise on the Indonesian archipelago. Beautiful beaches, bustling streets, and colorful markets. But more than anything, this is orangutan country. They might be one of our closest relatives. Their name even means man of the forest. But man is destroying their homes at an alarming rate. And Borneo is one of only 2 places on Earth where these red-haired primates still swing free through the jungle. As our world grows into theirs, these great apes are left teetering on the edge of extinction, their best hope for survival, an unlikely savior from a world away.
Alright, so that video is much longer, but we're only going to watch that part. So that was just a brief introduction to the orangutan. As it said, they do live in Indonesia and also Malaysia, but we're going to be talking about the rainforest of Borneo, which is in Indonesia. So here, this is where Indonesia is located in the, located in the world, sorry. So it's down here underneath China on, the southeastern, hemisphere of the world. So it is down there, also falling right along that line of the equator, so it is going to be a very dense and very humid rainforest. So a little bit more about the orangutan. So they are in the family of great apes. They are the rarest because they are, on the brink of extinction. They are most easily identifiable by their long reddish-brown hair, as you can see in the pictures. And they do also display sexual dimorphism. And that just means that male and female orangutans do visually look different, just like human male and females. So the male you can see here, he has these large panels of skin on either side of his face, and also a large, flap of skin underneath the chin. And, the bigger they are, the more successful they'll be in the mating process, because the female orangutan will look for the biggest, the one who can display the most, testosterone and things like that. And so then the female here just has this small circular face with the orangish colored hair around. So they do look different. They are also quadrupedal, so that means that when they are on the ground walking around, they do walk on all 4s, similar to a gorilla, but they do spend most of their time in trees. However, the male orangutans can get up to almost 200 pounds, and so that makes them too heavy to swing from tree to tree. So if they climb up one, they have to come back down, walk on the ground to another, and then, walk around that way. They are vegetarians, and they are also very solitary creatures. They don't congregate in families or packs like gorillas do, which is another great ape. The only time that they're seen together would be if a mother is with her infant. They stay together for approximately 2 years, or during the mating season when male and females will connect and find each other. So orangutans are actually one of the 2 species of great apes that are only found in Asia, the second being the gibbon, which is a lesser ape because their mating rituals are much different and they are much smaller in size, which makes them a lesser ape. But they are only found in Asia. And so orangutans are, as you saw in the video clip, they are incredibly intelligent. They use lots of hand tools and things to make their lives easier, but they are very introverted and very shy because they are on the brink of extinction and they're not used to seeing humans, seeing modernization, industrialization. That makes them very introverted, very shy. They do, stay deep in the forest. They don't want to be found. They want to do their own thing, much like, we want to do our own thing. So a little bit about the country of Indonesia. Here you can see in 1950, this green space was the amount of rainforest that was there in 1950. You can see here there are only about 3 locations on this island that were not densely populated with rainforests and jungles, things like that. And you can see through the years it has depleted severely. Here about 2010, us here in 2015, over 50% of the rainforest has been cut down, it has been diminished, and here we're looking into the future, 2020, we're going to be seeing even less, steadier decrease in the amount of rainforest, the amount of habitat that these animals will have. So why are they endangered? Obviously you could see from the map on the previous slide that their territory is becoming less and less. These animals need lots of space to roam. They travel from tree to tree, often going through hundreds of trees in a single day because they are very mobile. They're arboreal, which means that they spend 90% of their time in the trees all day, all night. And so in Indonesia today, there are approximately 1,500 orangutans that we know of. Obviously, it's hard to know with such a uncharted area of territory, but it is suspected that at least 1,000 orangutans per year are killed, and they're killed either through illegal capture. They can be sold on the black market because lots of wealthy people would favor having some sort of exotic creature to call their own as a pet. And also poaching and deforestation are huge problems in Indonesia. So palm oil is the main reason for this deforestation. 56% of the protected lowlands in the rainforest have been cut down in the last few years for timber because there are so many trees, obviously, and there's such a wide variety. And so the space about that had been cut down between 1985 and 2001 was about the size of the country of Belgium. Just to put into perspective, that is a lot of land. And so once all these trees have been cut down and it's kind of a barren location, they are using these big pieces of land to grow palm oil trees. So now a little bit about the plantations. If you can see, it's a little dark. Right here on this whole left side of the picture would be your palm oil plantation. You can see the trees, they're grown very close together, very uniform. And then here you can see that's where the border cut. And so there's natural rainforest there on the other side. You can see it's much more dense. There's a wide variety of plants and trees there that are growing naturally, obviously. But you can just see this immense difference in what you would gain from having a rainforest as opposed to your palm oil plantation. So products that you might find that have palm oil in them are actually a lot if you really do look. So things you can see here, your Nutella, your Lay's chips, lots of cereal brands, Crunch bars, and Skittles, lots of things contain palm oil. And so it is a big problem trying to decipher whether or not we should, save the rainforest or maybe, have this palm oil, because people love Nutella, they love their chips and their whipped cream. Even here you see there's coffee creamer. So there are a lot of products, so it is a really controversial issue. But I would like to point out that there are lots of supplemental ingredients that you could use to make these products, it's not like any of these products rely solely on the inclusion of palm oil in their mixtures. So there are ways around it. It would take a little bit more time and research to maybe discover a new recipe. And so why is this an issue? Why should anybody care at all, really? So this is why. So on these palm oil plantations, if an animal happens to wander in just by curiosity, by chance, the workers there are told to kill on site. Here you can see an orangutan that has been badly injured. These people here, they don't really have much respect for the wildlife, for the nature. They just want to make their money from the palm oil. Additionally, if by chance, because orangutans are so rare, if one does wander in, sometimes instead of just killing them, the workers will capture these animals and sell them on the black market. As I said, lots of people around the world would favor having such an exotic animal. You hear about in the news, people keeping lions in their apartments, things like that. So there is just terrible mistreatment and killing of these endangered animals. There are so few, and so it is just such a tragic event to have people kill them so, carelessly. And so then here, this picture right here, these are lemurs, and oftentimes, if it's a creature that is, not so much on the brink of extinction, they will still kill them, but they will hang their bodies, at a high point so that in the area, perhaps other animals can see, and they'll, maybe decide that if they see that some of their own kind, your relatives, brothers, sisters, babies, have, been killed here, that they'll try and stay away. But really just a very inhumane and just horrible to me, heartbreaking way to go about, keeping this problem under control. So, a glimpse of hope. There are lots of, efforts to try and keep this problem under control. This is one big campaign. You can't see it because of this weird box, but it says, "Don't palm us off." So, because the orangutan is not the only species that is being harmed by these plantations, there are efforts. This is a rare species of rainforest elephant. They live only in Borneo, which is Indonesia, and there are only a couple hundred left. They are also killed and slaughtered because they do travel such great distances. Also the tiger, the rhino, animals like that, very endangered because of these palm oil plantations. And so I would ask to you, do you think that it would be worth it to have your whipped cream as opposed to, orangutans going extinct? Does anybody have any questions? No? All right, thank you. Oh, I didn't log out of my email. Does it matter?